Yeah, it is.
I've never seen one, so.
Yeah. It's moving out to West Campus. We just shut it down for moving, but yeah, apparently there's a huge demand for 3D printing from the main campus right now, but we're going to get some overflow. If you want to learn it, Colton Banquet's our super user, and I'm sure he'd be happy to show it to you. All right. No, we got all kinds of goodies around here. Okay, so it's week 12, April 20th. I think is it Earth Week this week, or usually
The ride's gonna have the trailer here.
yeah, the trailer is coming on Friday.
Okay.
Let me show you guys where that's going to be. Yeah. So over on the mountain campus, there's the oval. That's west. That's north. Here's the UC. The trailer's going to be right here on Friday. So Orion's driving that into town, and we're just kind of looking to make sure that someone's going to be there all day. I think I'll be there most of the day. So it'd be great to stop by. I'll be handing out some flyers and all that good stuff. And then Saturday, we're going to have the trailer over here at Karis Park. So that's, you guys know where that is, the tent. So they'll be on, main campus Friday, Karis Park on Saturday. So it'd be great to see you there for both of those.
Pretty much all day?
Yeah, I think, middle of the day. I think, the focus is going to be like from 11 to 4 on main campus, and then like 11 to 6 over at Karis.
Saturday, I mean.
Is that the fair?
Friday, if you want to go.
MUD, Missoula Urban Demonstration Project has kind of
Not the sustainability fairs of that.
yeah, I think sustainability fairs in the fall, but similar idea. Yeah. So show up for those. Was there another question though too? So those are the two main things happening.
I'll come Friday, but Saturday I'll be out of town.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Please.
But I'll just stop by.
Yeah. Please stop by. Okay.
Bring a donut.
Yeah.
As Wally would say.
All right. So I think Greg Guscio got this lecture in the bank. I'm still waiting to see if he got.
He was having troubles.
Did he get anything up last week or not?
He got nothing up the first week, and then if he got that up, because he didn't get anything up the week before that.
It seemed like he was,
First 2 weeks he did that.
Okay. I will look for his week 11 lecture and
I didn't look because I was here.
get it out to the course. Okay.
They're all kind of trying to tutor him on it.
Yeah. Well. And then obviously I'm recording, so I'll have this lecture up as well. But anything else? I know you're all filling out the NABCEP exams. I'm sorry, there's a fee associated with it. Like I said, if I can find some emergency funding somewhere to pay for it, I'll do my best to help out with that. And then while we're on the topic, let me show you something else. I had a really good conversation this morning. With a gentleman who lives in Ohio. I'm sorry, the other one, Idaho. Got the Midwest on my brain. Let me find his contact information. So I had a really good early morning conversation. Yeah, Charles Woodward. So Charles contacted me earlier this year. He's 69 years old. He's been in the renewable energy industry for 30 or 40 years. Similar to how the previous owner of Sinelco. His name will come to me in a second, but similar to him, he now works out at the Axman, but he has sort of seen the big picture on renewable systems. He said, in the 70s and 80s, you couldn't really grid tie a system. Finally, the 90s come around, and California is coming out with grid tie, electrical code, all that good stuff. And so he had sort of a revival in his business, mainly doing PV, a lot of solar thermal too. He says he doesn't do so much geothermal, but he's got one in his house, and that's what a lot of his clients are working towards. So he wants to sell his business. And I said, I've got a lot of graduates who are looking for businesses. So what's that mean? Well, it means that he gives you the names of his clients. Because his clients are, I think, constantly needing repairs, upgrades, additions to their systems. And so he showed me fun, secret, fun, but not so much, because this video is going to go viral, I'm sure. Oh no, what was it? Hang on. Oh, there we go. .com. Oh, come on. You seen a oh, maybe here. Sell. It was sell, not sales. Okay. And we're going to do a little bit more on economics next week, but this is the real deal. This is like the historical sort of sales. So it's been for 35 years, paid for my home, my office, my living expenses, 2 rental houses. I can afford to retire. Cha-ching. Nice job. When I listed the business, we discussed the value. So it's worth $155,000. I'm guessing, probably as students, you don't have that just sitting around in your bank account. But if this is something you're, interested in doing down the road, it would just be a matter of going to the bank and saying, hey, I'd like a business loan. I'm going to buy this business, and then off you go. If he's making, these numbers, 41K, 98K, 57K, 55K, and you buy the business for $150,000, and you continue to make this money, your payback is 3 years, right? And most banks would say that's a pretty reasonable payback period. He did mention NABCEP as something that's critical for operating his business. He also mentioned, I can't remember who I was talking to about this morning. He also mentioned one upcoming hiccup in the solar PV industry that is now happening. Here's the hiccup, and I've known about this for a while. So the International Brotherhood, not exactly, well, and there they are, there's a woman, being one of the brothers. The IBEW, several years ago in New Jersey, you guys have seen all the mafia movies lately, Pittsburgh, New York, Jersey. The IBEW shut down a large PV install in New Jersey because they weren't in charge of it. They said any electrical grid type thing has to go through us. If it's not sanctioned by the IBEW, it doesn't happen. They're a very powerful union, lobbying force, etc. The issue, and I'm finding the same exact issue right now, and this is where some of the politics and the permitting, and that's exactly what we're talking about today. So I'll tell you exactly the issue that I've been running into. So where are we right now in the course? We've already done the the loads. We've done the electrical analysis. We've done the pricing. We have, well, what we're waiting on now, number 4, is the install. And obviously, there's more to it than that, but here we are. We're at the install phase. Before that happens, you've got to get the permit. And here's the issue with that. So there's sort of the job. It's the whole. So there's drawings. There's materials. The issue though is who the contractor is. Now, in the case of and I've got an open job right now. It's installing a webcam down at Brennan's Wave, and just so that you guys can see where I am with that, let me show you some of the scope of that guy. And I'm doing this under my professional engineering license. Here's Brennan's Wave. Here are the conduit drawings. Yeah. So I just whipped these up in PowerPoint because I was in a really big hurry. But what we're trying to do is go from the wave. We're trying to put a webcam right out on the bow of the observation deck. Originally, we wanted to do PV. The city said they didn't want a PV panel hanging out on the front of the deck. Someone was going to bump their head or hurt themselves or whatever and give a bad name. So they wanted to be grid tied. We were looking to grid tie it with the street lamps. Problem is the street lamps are running at 220 volts and they're only on at night. So there again, you need some energy storage if you're going to run the thing during the day. So what we were able to do recently is run from space number 1, which is where we want the 110 service and Ethernet, to the bathroom. So the bathroom's already on the grid for electricity. Well, it's a 300-foot run from there over to there. Right? That's so Google Earth. Some guy, I think I actually met the guy, did a 3D scan of the area. You can stand anywhere in that space virtually and see anywhere else. It's kind of cool. But so you're getting from there to there. We also thought maybe we would go east with it to the pump house. There's electricity there, but it's further. And then we want to perhaps, if we can't get internet over to the bathroom, we might shoot it with a radio signal over to the Wilma, and they've got internet. So here's the run. It's 340 feet. We need what's called a sweep. That's just kind of an elbow. Usually a sweep's got a male end on one end, a female on the other end. Typically an elbow's got females on both ends. So 340 power line. The Cat 6, if I'm not mistaken, will get 1 to 10 gigs through the system. So if you want to do a really high-end camera right there, we can run that. We had to cap both ends. You can't run your 110 electric right next to your Ethernet because you get noise in your signal, so we had to run two separate lines. So all that conduit's been purchased. Here's what happened. I called the city and I said I want an electrical permit to finish the job under my professional engineering license. They said, sorry, you're not a master electrician. And you cannot pull a permit. They will only issue electrical permits to licensed master electricians. So I called 2 different licensed master electricians, and I said, hey, I have the approval of the city to do this project under my professional engineering license. Can you please help me pull the permit? They said, well, only if we own the job. Only if we have started the job start to finish. Problem is, the job's already started. We laid the pipe a week or 2 ago. So now, back
Do all
to,
the work, but then we'll go hook it up.
well, yeah. And so,
That's just ridiculous.
yeah, well, this was the exact same conversation I had with Charles this morning. Where'd my email go? He referred to himself as Charlie. So Charlie said, back in the good old days, and he's not an engineer, but he's sort of been in the business, built a reputation for himself. In the good old days, he could go in, do all the preliminary wiring, the DC, the mounting, all the stuff we've been talking about here in 243, and then call in the licensed master electrician to finish the job at the end. The tide is changing a little bit in that, and I just mentioned the sort of the precedent that was set in New Jersey. So the catch-22 though is typically the IBEW does not train its journeymen, master electricians, etc., apprentices to do solar. It's just not. It's not something they've traditionally done because they haven't seen the payoffs of just keeping themselves busy doing remodels and boxes. A lot of them would rather not be up on the roofs either. They haven't taken the fall protection and all that kind of stuff that we teach out at West Campus. So what I see is the most lucrative and encompassing future. And I've got one guy out there doing it right now. Nathan Farrow, a couple years ago, graduated with his energy technology degree. He's a fantastic student. Went to work for Palmer. In fact, they're one of the guys I talked to. And he said, if you really want to make a mark and own the whole job, you got to go get your master electrician's license. So anyway, that's my story. And so now I'm finding myself caught right in the middle of that whole thing, where the contractor is it either the PE, which is me, or the master electrician. And so the question is this little kind of ownership power struggle between the two, because and you can see the issue from both points of view. The master electrician doesn't want to come in and put his name and his insurance on something that he wasn't 100% sure was done right the first time. In fact, the individual who laid that conduit for me was putting in a sprinkler system, and that requires, there's electronic controls in there as well. I didn't actually inspect his install, but he went in and glued all of the conduit together, he laid it in there, and the issue for the master electrician now is, he didn't actually see the guy put the pipes in, put the glue on. He can't guarantee that it's not going to leak, corrode, end up with a short, end up with some way of electrical shock hazard from electricity being there and in touch with water or something like that. So that's my little story or issue on that.
What are you gonna do?
What am I going to do? I'm going to find a master electrician other than the 2 I've talked to who's looking for work and willing to work under the agreement that I have. And so he'll have to. I don't think I'm going to be able to negotiate with the city. They only give permits to the master electricians. But I'll just find someone else who's a little more independent.
Keep digging and digging.
Yeah, not give up.
Do you have to be a member of the IBEW to be an electrician?
That is a good question. I don't know if you have to be an IBEW member to actually be a master electrician. I would doubt it. And I don't know, I mean, I think the IBEW is going to have more influence on bigger jobs, like wiring the Trump Tower or whatever. I don't because they've got a big enough labor force behind them that they're going to be able to coordinate the labor. Whereas one independent contractor just didn't have the bandwidth to do it. Something like this little project, it's a $5,000 or $10,000 job. It might not be worth their time to try to block somebody else that wasn't a member of the IBEW to do it. So, okay, so that's my own story with it. I'm going to take a little Camtasia break. We're far enough in. Any questions on that at all? That's good. That's a good question. I don't know if you've got to be a. I think you can hold a master electrician's license without. I think the only deal is you can't be an IBEW member if you haven't paid your dues, right? And then right, there's always the dues. If you haven't paid your dues, and it was the same thing. I'm a University of Montana union member. I paid my dues, came out of my paycheck, and the idea is when something like this whole moratorium thing comes down, the union rep goes in and talks to the faculty senate and says, hey, we want to keep, so it's always politics. There's usually money, there's politics.
Are you in the same union as faculty in main campus?
Yeah. I know there's the Missoula College faculty have a separate bargaining unit, so the tenure standard's a little different, but it's all part of the same union, yeah. I don't know how much power we have. We're going to walk out. We're not going to teach today.